There it is. All right. Welcome back, guys. Another great week. My name's Chip, and this is the Edge Podcast with Chip and Christy. The Edge Biz, we are a business educational organization that helps entrepreneurs grow in their endeavors, man, helps them build their dreams. Like the field of dreams. If you build it, they will come. We help you make them come to the whatever you're building. We want you to grow. We want entrepreneurs to not only grow and become pillars of their community, but we want people that aren't even entrepreneurs yet, that just have ideas, just have a spark in them, and that want to create their own thing and do their own things. That's what the Edge wants. We want for you, not from you. But without further ado, I'm Chip McCarter, and this is Christy Ogle. And today we have an amazing topic today, because ultimately this is what business owners ask on a daily, hourly basis: how to generate leads. What we have 19 different ways to generate leads, but there's plenty. There's so many ways to generate, so much ways to generate business. It's insane, to the point where you start thinking, well, I can't do all these. I can't do all these at once, and you get overwhelmed. But the truth is take the action steps and everything we talk about on here. The minute you start actually getting into action, you start realizing that these things work, that what we're about to talk about definitely brings in more business and helps generate leads for whatever the niche is, whatever the field of work you're in. What we're about to talk about will help you generate leads. Christy, what's the number one way, the first thing that pops in your mind when someone says, how do I generate leads for my business?
When you started talking about this, you're going to think, Christy, you went a little bit off the deep end, because when you said, all these ways to generate leads, it reminded me of my grandmother. God rest her soul. She passed away 9 or 10 years ago. And I remember walking into the cemetery, and this thing that Les Brown said to me, who is this amazing communicator, popped into my mind, because I just started listening to him 10 years ago. And I remember walking into the graveyard, and we're getting ready to bury my grandmother. And I look around, and there's all these gravestones. A lot of people that had died in the war were buried at her cemetery. And I remember Les Brown saying the most valuable property around is at a graveyard. That's where dreams go and die. Scripts, books, businesses go to die. And the reason a lot of people don't get into business, they're scared of it, like those entrepreneurs we were talking about earlier, Chip, is they're scared. They don't know how to get into business, or they start one, right? They have this amazing cupcake that everybody loves, and they want to sell the cupcake, right? But they are fearful, and they don't know how to sell this beautiful cupcake without becoming pushy. They hate the word sales. They hate the business that they have to drum up, because you can't just put out this amazing cupcake like Joanna Gaines, right? And sell this cupcake for $5 per pop, because you have to have people to buy the cupcakes. So you have to have a way in your business to generate leads, but not spending 100% of your time generating leads. Then you got to work the leads, because it's 75% of all salespeople never follow up on a lead a second time, right? You can get these leads to come in, but if you don't nurture the leads once it comes in, you don't have a business. So I challenge you to go out there and try 1, 2 of these ways to get leads, and then work the leads that come in, instead of letting them fall by the wayside and losing that money and letting them go to someone else. Have somebody that wants this amazing cupcake that you can sell and make money for, so you don't go to the graveyard with your dreams and your hopes and your passions, because that's where they died. that screenplay is never going to get written. That business is never going to happen.
Mhm.
So those entrepreneurs start their businesses, and then you have to get leads to make that business go from 0 to whatever you want it to be, right? So how do you generate leads? There's probably a million different ways to generate leads, but we're just going to talk about a few of them today. It's very expensive to acquire new customers, so you want to do it in such a way that it has the most bang for your buck. So an interesting way to generate leads is simple, and one of my favorite ways is social media. I love Facebook and my Facebook pages to generate leads for my business. It's as simple as putting up a Facebook page, getting it out in the beginning to your friends and family, and then growing it from there. It's as easy as pie to do, but most people put up their Facebook page and never do it again. I contacted somebody 2 weeks ago for to get my hair done, and they still haven't contacted me off of their Facebook page. Now it's just a learning exercise, so I can share with you guys. I would never use them because they haven't responded to me. But social media, Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn, great ways to drive leads to you, but they have to be active with these pieces of social media. Don't you agree, Chip?
Yeah, 100%. Social media is, for one, it's free. It's not like you can utilize it for free and actually have it be successful if you optimize it correctly. It's also inexpensive. Even when it comes to spending money on ads, the prices aren't near like Google, for instance, or especially advertisement time on TV or on the radio. The real high-end marketing that, in all fairness or seriousness, whatever you want to think about, is not really where I'd want to market any of my businesses, especially as a local business, because unless you just know for a fact that your ad is getting ran when the news is on or something, and that's still, I don't even think I know anybody that watches that anymore, because there's news streaming 24/7 on other platforms. Why do you have to watch the 6 o'clock news when you can literally listen to whatever news you want to, streaming at all times on some kind of video or audio platform? But social media is where you need to be for business, period. I 100% agree when it comes to generating leads. I 100% agree when it comes to, once you get those leads, that's a whole nother different ball game. How to work those leads. Yeah, whole nother podcast. Yeah, and we will touch base on that. I pray now, especially now that we've brought up bringing the leads in, because keeping the leads, working the leads over and over and over again are how your business can keep making more and more money. And but getting the leads in, man, and social media is definitely one of the #1 spots. And right there with social media is Google, and having a website and a profile on Google is just as, if not more, is not more important when it comes to bringing in leads, especially exclusive leads that know they want you specifically.
Yeah, and then through your social media, you can do different ways to advertise. So one of them, Chip's been on me for months to do, and I still haven't done, is a blog. Like, blogging is a great way on your social media, different platforms though, right? You don't want to blog on Insta. You don't want to blog on TikTok. You can't, right? But you could do live videos. You could write ads, super simple, or take other people, model people on Canva and write the ads on there. But a great video is a video tutorial. By showing people what you do, you'll bring people in. Well, Chris, you don't want to give away the farm, right? You're not giving away the freaking farm. If you have a cupcake business and your #1 seller is the secret recipe that's passed down from grandma, don't share that recipe. but share how to make the
Everything
best
else.
vanilla cupcake in the world, right? You can do that, some sort of video tutorial to show people your personality, your brand. People will come looking for you when they want that Snickers cupcake that's a secret family recipe, right?
Mhm.
So video tutorials are an amazing way, and people that do this consistently, Facebook, YouTube, Insta, TikTok, you can repurpose all of them for all the different LinkedIn. When they use this method, it gets their business to go up off the ground, because no matter how you power wash a dang house, somebody else is doing it the same way that you're doing it, right? Somebody else has that Snickers cupcake recipe that you've got. It's not something that's just this, oh,
Hmm.
somebody else has it, right? So
Yeah.
share it. People are going to see the steps that you take and the love that you put into it, and they're not going to want to do it. And the people that aren't do-it-yourselfers are going to go, oh, they know what they're talking about when it comes to the Snickers cupcake. I'm going to use it.
I mean, that's me and my family to a T. We are, if someone else does it, and and they're professionals, why not pay the professionals to do it? And that's
Exactly.
how. But what you're doing is you're setting yourself as the expert in your field. You're putting yourself out there as the one who can help solve that problem. Fat boys want their cupcakes, man. They're gonna buy them. And they just want to know where they are, and put them on your Facebook story, and they see where they are, and God forbid they can order it right from there.
Yeah.
Just figure out where you need to be. But yeah, that's 100%, man. The blogs, that's just a way to set yourself as an expert in your field of work. And people want to trust the experts. They want the experts. If they see me talking about marketing for 2 years before they ever get started on marketing, eventually, if they do start a business, and they do, just because they've never once had to use marketing, once they know of me now, I'm the one that they remember, because I've been talking about it for the last 2 years, even though I've been repetitive, even though in my mind I'm redundant and annoying and saying the same thing over and over again. It's just what business is. You're just having to sell these things, but putting yourself as the expert in that field. I have experience from new clients coming in because of that, because something I did consistently a year ago, when they started to do their business, they thought of me and they called. So you never know who you're catching with these videos either. And you don't, just because it's not immediate does not mean it's not working. The numbers are not lying. If you have people watching and listening and commenting, you're doing it correctly. So that's what you just have to focus on, is getting people to interact with you on the social
Yeah,
media
and
platforms.
you're probably not going to get 100 customers the first day you open your Facebook page or your social media page. What Chip said is so important in any kind of marketing efforts is consistency. Do it over and 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 over again. Chip and I are going to get sick of hearing the same thing over and over again, but customers have to see your brand. They have to see what you're doing 16 to 18 times in 2021, because there's so much noise, right? We've got these stinking phones that we're on all the time. We've got the TV screen. We've got the computer screen. We have the radio. We've got the kids. We've got life pulling at us. So when I see McCarter Marketing, oh yeah, I want to use that business. And Chip puts an ad out and he's like, no, it didn't work. That's not how he is, by the way, but no, it didn't work. He doesn't stop there. He keeps putting it out over and over and over again. And I've seen Chip with his marketing. He'll have nothing on the first week, but 2 months later, there's 157 comments and people that are actually doing business with him now. You have to do it over and over and over and over and over again. Even when you're sick of hearing it yourself as a business owner, you've got to put it out there, right? With one of my businesses, people were like, you're a cleaning business. I'm a cleaning business and something else, right? So I had to re-educate. And I'm still re-educating my customers and clients, because they think it's one thing, but it's actually one and another. But that's my fault as a marketer because I wasn't doing it correctly. I wasn't thinking like my customer to drive more leads into my business for that particular part of my business. So you have to do it over and over and over again with consistency. That blog, the videos, the marketing, before and after pictures are huge. Like if you've got a cupcake business, take a picture of all the ingredients and then have an after picture of your Snickers cupcake, right? So when you do that, you grab people's attention. When you're wanting to market and get more leads for your business, you have to think like a customer, right? Like a client. What's going to stop their scroll? You need something that reaches through the phone, grabs them, and keeps them for the length of their attention span, which is about 7 seconds. Yeah.
You got to get it.
A butterfly is 9 seconds. A human being's only 7, Chip.
I believe it. I believe it. But it's, and also if you got to think of it this way, because this is more search engine optimization side. This is more like ranking, because there is like a pecking order on Facebook on who they're going to suggest first when it comes to like suggested businesses that you may like, all that stuff that keeps you in the rotation, and on Google, being on the first page of Google for the right keyword searches. But you're building trust across the board. You're not just building trust with the clients in the community that you're working around. You're building trust with the platforms you're on. You're building trust with Facebook. You're building trust with Google, Instagram, wherever you are. The more people that start interacting and commenting, that's what Facebook wants. The more you're getting people to react, the happier you're making Facebook. The happier you're making Facebook, the more optimized your page is going to be. With Google, having the right words, having the correct backlinks, whatever the SEO you use to get you to page one, it's just trust. It's just showing Google that you're truly doing what you're doing, and then how you're doing it, where you're doing it, how much for, all those little details. The more you can get into it, but building trust is what you have to do as a business owner anyways. Because without trust, you're nothing. That's how businesses still out there get ratings. That's why the locals love us is so great, because people want they want to be able to trust you. So when you kind of take that trust away, it's not just the clients and customers. It's not just the community you want to trust you. You want these platforms you're on to trust you too, so you can get the best out of them, because they want to give you the best. They do, or else they wouldn't. It's a business. They're a business as well.
Yeah. Another thing to do is collaborate with other businesses. And that's one thing that we do with Edge is we work with other businesses that use this kind of marketing to bring in other people. You use, I don't like the word like using, but you use these other businesses to help drive more customers to your business because of that trust that Chip was talking about, right? It's important in this lead generation for you to go from obscurity to omnipresence. So by doing that online with your social media, with your Google pages, now get your ass out of the seat at home and go out and network with people, and this will raise your visualization of your business in that area by other business owners knowing you, because they're opening their book of business to you, right? Exactly. So when you collaborate with other businesses, I had somebody this week that asked me for a roofer in the Waco, Texas area. And so I gave him this roofer that I'd worked with on and off for years to help these people to be able, I'm probably not going to get anything for it, but I collaborated with that business and he still sends me leads to this day and I send him leads. So I'm using my book of business to help his book of business by collaborating with other people and networking.
Even working with other people in the same niche that you're in, you'd be surprised how much it can open business to you. You open books of business. Just because you think it's a competitor doesn't mean that they're doing business the same way you're doing it. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean they even have the same services. When you start looking and digging deeper, most of the time, each niche has their own little small niches inside of them.
Uh-huh.
And it's, as a business owner, I understand what I'm saying. I don't know if everybody else does, but you can almost compartmentalize each business to a bunch of different businesses. And then if you figure out if one's doing good with this and the other's doing good with this, and they team up and start just doing great with all of it, and become one powerhouse company, together. It's insane. But that's the mindset of abundance over the mindset of scarcity.
Yeah.
And it's insane how much your life can change if you have the mindset of scarcity. Your life can completely flip around the minute you start realizing there's so much more out there and there's enough for everybody.
There
Yeah.
is enough for everybody. I'm glad that you said that, because there's so many people that have this thought of competition, but where you collaborate with others, you can actually send them business. They can send you business and help build each other's businesses. I was talking to a lady in South Texas the other day that she had a cleaning business. And I was like, have you ever heard of blah, 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 the $1 million maid coach? You need to contact her. She's like, yeah, I'm struggling in these areas. I'm like, you should talk to Debbie. And so she's like, give me your phone number. So I sent her her phone number, her Facebook page, all that kind of stuff. By collaborating with her, of course, I could open a cleaning business in her area. Not going to, but I could have viewed her as competition. Like, maybe I want to open up that area one day, but instead I collaborated with her. And now when I get leads in that area, I'll just send them to her. And when she gets them in the Waco area, she's going to send them to me. So collaborating with those other businesses can really help you. And plus, I mean, I remember when I started business, another maid business actually sent me a legal letter, like, quit taking our customers.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, that's how I went into business. But now I'm like, oh, they were just scared, like, because we marketed really well and we didn't take really any of their customers that I knew of. But this feeling of scarcity this business hasn't grown any, because they're trying to just keep everything they've got. Like, if you're good enough to take my customers, take them. Bye. I'll get another one, right? And I'll help you build your business because I want you to be successful. Just like, people think, oh, there's only this certain amount of money in the world, right? It's not that way. Like, there's plenty of money out there. You've just got to figure out how to get it in your niche. And then you can help other people do the same thing, because the more people that you help make their dreams come true, those people are going to help you make your dreams come true. Thanks, Zig Ziglar.
Yeah, well, the law of reciprocation, 100%. You give somebody something, they're almost just, human nature makes them feel compelled to give you something back. It's backing a rat into a corner. You don't even know, they don't even know you're doing it by being nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's the truth though, because they do.
Surprise! Oh, you don't want to not talk to me because I'm in the same business? No, I want to collaborate with you.
Yeah.
And here's some conferences to go to for you to build your business. That's another one, is conferences and conventions. Have business cards. I don't know how many people I ask all the time that they're like, oh, I don't have a business card anymore. Well, I like business cards. I'm old school. I don't know about you, Chip, but there's other ways to do business cards now. LinkedIn, you can do them on.
You can have one on your phone.
Yeah.
You just like press it up against their phone and bing, they get it,
Yeah. That's how you go from obscurity to omnipresence. Thank you, Grant Cardone. Is you get out there and you let people know about your business. Chip and I were talking about this earlier. Well, when we were talking, we were like, how many people do we want to contact every day to let them know about Edge? Like, you have to consistently be thinking, how can I get from this obscurity to omnipresence? How many people can I get out to? And then whatever you think you need to get out to, you need to 10x it. You need it bigger than what you're actually thinking, because only about 2% of people that you go out and contact are going to use whatever it is. So if I want 2 new customers a day, how many people do I have to have? 100. Like, if I only do 10,
numbers game.
I get 1 customer every 10 days. So that's something for you to really think about too, is going to these conventions and conferences, getting your name out there, and then those people that are in the same business, maybe having them as a guest blog or a guest post or a guest interview, and publish them, share their pages. You and I share pages of people that are in this, like Sammy with Optimized Solutions. Like,
Yeah.
I know him through you, and he does the same exact thing that you do. Like,
Yep.
it's because we collaborate and we believe truly that there's plenty of business to go around, Chip.
Well,
That's just
Sammy's when I talk about that, Sammy is the example in my head when I'm actually speaking on that, because when we were starting to work together, our personalities are on such opposite ends. He is perfect. He's really good at this part of the business, and I'm really good at this part, but we're not good at the same thing. So we work great together. It's finding those connections though. Like that's the example in my head. I know my dad has a friend who I like to think of their friendship like that too, because they make tons of money together, because that's just what they do. That's how they built their friendship, and that's what we're trying to teach with the Edge, though, is how to build these relationships and how to grow your business. Obviously how to generate more leads for your business. We just want for whatever entrepreneurs are part of our team and our tribe, we want for them. We want them to grow and learn along with us, because we're still growing and learning, man. We're on the way. We know the stuff. We're just putting it into action and actually making it happen and making it real.
Mm-hmm. Another thing to do is pay for advertising. Now, I'm a firm believer in paying for advertising. You got to put money into it to get something out of it.
Mhm.
But I do utilize all those free channels that Chip and I have talked about, but you have to be smart with your paid advertising. So I went to a conference. Do you remember the days when we used to go live in person to conferences? Chip, do you remember those?
I do. Yes, I do.
At one of the last conferences I was at about a year and a half ago, there was about 2,500 people there. And this is about marketing and leads. So I'm going to just walk through it. So 2,500 people there. There was 16-year-olds there that are wanting to start their own business, 85-year-old people that are in business, and everywhere in between. And it was Tony Robbins. I don't know if it was Tony that stood up and did this, but it was somebody at the conference. So they said, okay, how many of you in this room purchased this $10,000 conference through regular forms of media? By regular forms of media, he meant like billboards and
Newspapers,
newspapers,
magazines.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And only about 15% of the room stood up. And I wasn't one of them, but it wasn't that many. How many of you did it from phone calls, telemarketing? 16 to 85 and everywhere in between, 0 people stood up. How many of you did it from us sending direct mailers? And again, 16 to 85. How many people bought it through the direct mail? And nobody stood up. We get to the regular forms of media, about 15% stood up. Now, the next question was, how many of you purchased this $10,000 conference from people recommending on social media? And instead of just a handful, about 85% of the people stood up.
Yeah, everybody else.
What does that tell me as a marketer, as a business owner who needs to watch every penny that I'm spending? Social media works. Then the next one was, how many of you saw this online? Went on Google, looked it up, checked it out. How many of you? 100%. 16 to 85. All of them stood up. As a marketer, that tells me social media is going to give me the most bang for my buck, or online. That's where everybody's at. They're on this stinking phone all day long, scrolling. So as a marketer, it tells me, oh, maybe that's where I should get the most bang for my buck.
For sure.
Paid advertising or regular advertising, online works. 2,500 people all over the world tells me social media and online works. So I let that other stuff just go.
Yeah.
And it transformed my business. I went from bankruptcy to damn near 7 figures during a global pandemic because of the knowledge I got from that conference. Just that one thing. I only marketed on social media and networking, and it worked for me.
And yeah, the Google, page one of Google constantly, and that's what you're paying Google for. When you're paying Google ads, you're just paying for page one, Google, for those keywords that you put in there. But it's proven itself over and over again. I mean, the companies that are spending the tens of thousands of dollars a month on ads are making hundreds of thousands of dollars profit.
Exactly.
They're not doing that for nothing. Nobody's spending tens of thousands of dollars a month for no reason. They're doing it because it hits. I mean, it's a guaranteed return if you work it correctly, though. You can't just let the phone ring, decide to call people back when you want to call people back, not follow up on leads. You know, there's so much else that comes along with it, but exclusive, amazing leads come off Google every day if you're up on the right pages. And social media is the same thing. If you get other people talking about you, or if you're on there talking and you can bring a crowd in live, or even just get comments and likes and all that stuff, you know, that social media and Google 100% say you're going to save yourself tons of money, tons of heartache, and you don't have to deal with those cocky assholes that sell those ads, man. I have not liked one of them yet.
And most of them don't have a clue how to market or sell.
Well, or if you try to talk back with a like undersell, yeah, no, I do kind of the same thing. Then all of a sudden I'm an asshole, you know. But I mean, I've never had any luck with any of those kind of sales. For some reason, they're a different breed.
They are. They're archaic.
Yeah, they're good salespeople.
They
I
are.
could use them. They just need to turn to the good side, you know.
Yeah, come over to online space. Another thing is to give free consultations. You're great with that with McCarter Marketing. You can create a free trial. Another thing that a lot of people are ignoring now is emails. Every email address that you have is worth $1. That person's going to spend $1 with you a month. So that's another thing. So an email marketing campaign, getting email list from emails from people. Is it okay if I email you? Yeah. You've got that permission. Start utilizing it. I've got lists with millions of people throughout the United States. I even got lists that Chip and I talk about that I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I got it just in case I need it in the future. And Chip will tell me in the future how to utilize it. Another thing is to share with other influencers. That's Chip and I teamed up together to build a better edge. I could have done it. He could have done it, but us together have created this force in the Central Texas area that are helping businesses be better. We've seen people with 300% returns with Edge in building their business. So sharing content and sharing your audience with other people, it can help out tremendously too. Don't you agree, Chip?
100%. Yeah, you definitely opening up your books of clients for other people is just an invitation for them to do the same thing back. You know, so don't just be closed off if another business owner wants to talk to you about your clients or how you handle them. You know, talk, you know, like learn from other people too. Everybody's different, but I 100% agree, man. Collaborate with other business owners, no matter what their niche is. You know, if you click with somebody that's another business owner, you should find a way to make that work financially too, not just like a friendship wise. There's a way to connect almost every business. You know, nowadays, it seems like everybody's connected somehow in one way, form, or fashion anyways. You can go on one website and even if that website doesn't sell it, usually there's a link to get you to what you want, so like every website's like the one stop fits all, so
Yeah.
just find your connections and make them yourself. Connecting your website to other businesses' websites has way more strength than you'll ever know, man. That is a killer secret that you need to know. Connect with everybody, but not just that. Find ways to connect your social media pages with your Google pages and with other people's pages. Just connect everything.
I didn't realize that until Chip told me. That's something that he strategically thinks about with our business that we co-founded together, Edge, that I never even thought about that. So to be able to collaborate online with other people, to see that you have this relationship with another person. So if somebody comes to me for one of my businesses and they want the Snickers cupcake, I don't have it, right? I don't have a baking company, but if I have somebody to send it to, and that's something we're building out with Edge, with our website, is to connect to our members so that people can see what other people we have connections with in the community are doing, and to fulfill the needs of our clients and customers, because that builds them into their raving fans. Yep. Another thing to do is to automate prospecting. A good way is to hire a marketing agency to teach you how to automate. One thing I think of is, oh man, it just left me. It generates prospects for you, and I just lost the name.
Well, there's a couple different. You talking about the software? There's D7 Lead Finder, Lead Generated. There's tons of them, and there's always ways to find leads. But if you get online and I guess probably put in like prospecting, I'm sure you can find different ways to get them. But all you're getting is really the best way that we've found, Christy and I found, and this is the big secret, man, is just go to the county and find all the new DBAs that have been, the assumed names that have been created in the last 6 months, and you've got nothing but new businesses.
Yeah, especially if it's your target market.
Yeah, if it's business to business, that's great for you.
Yeah,
and oh, sorry, go ahead.
That also on your website, having a submission page. Chip taught me that your website is out there working for you 24/7, and you don't have to pay it every month. So you don't have to pay a commission out to it. So utilize that auto kind of responder. I don't even know the verbiage for it, Chip, but you can use it on your social media. You can use it on your email campaigns. You can use it on your website. You could use it on your landing pages, that it's working for you and you're getting leads. But the important thing, you can get those leads, but always remember, take action once you get those leads. A list isn't going to do anything for you if you don't take action on working those leads.
Exactly. Yeah. And getting the list, and I've done that, man. I was so guilty at the beginning of just having lists and lists and lists of prospects and not doing anything with it. But just taking that action step is, man, it turns the whole game around, man, and getting out there every day and finding new action steps. But there's so many different ways to generate leads nowadays.
I don't know how many we talked about today, but there was a ton.
Yeah, no, but and the thing is there's tons more. And one of the biggest ones is word of mouth. And that's just, and you always want, that's why we like the Edge so much, is because we're just creating raving fans of each other. So if anybody ever comes to me for a personal assistant, consider it done by Kimberly.com here in Waco. Yeah. She's in the Edge. That's who I'm going to use every time. She can do personal shopping. She can do all the stuff, so that's in my mind. I'm already going to refer anything else, if anybody ever comes to me for CBD, we got the CBD guy. He's ready and he's got what you need. So, just whatever it is, find ways to connect with those other business owners, and y'all can become raving fans of each other.
Yeah. And so we talked about a ton of different ways to generate leads today. I'm not saying go out and do all of them all at once, but if you don't have a Facebook page, put up a Facebook page. If you don't have an Instagram, put up an Instagram. If you don't have a LinkedIn, do a LinkedIn and take some sort of action and work on gathering those leads every single day. Have a system of some sort, because there are a million different ways to generate leads, and you're going to get overwhelmed if you try to do the million different ways. Choose one, choose two. It can be very powerful, and take action and continue. What was that word that you used, Chip? Consistency. Do it every day. Does that mean do it 5 days a week, Christy, or does it mean do 7? Get off your ass and do it 7 days a week. Once you get to that 7th day, it's going to take you minutes to do. Go from obscurity to omnipresence. And the only way you're going to do it is by taking action. Knowledge isn't power. Action is power.
For sure. And it eventually will become a habit. Eventually it'll just become second nature to you, to where you are you're just a robot doing everything naturally. You know, but that's what the goal is to where I could sell my business in my sleep. You know, that's what you want.
Exactly.
Or I can go on shutdown mode, but I can still talk about and sell you my business if I need to.
Yep, exactly. So just go out there, take action. Omnipresence is what you want everybody to know your name. The worst thing you could do is end up in that graveyard with that dream, that business dying with you.
No doubt.
You have greatness within you. You have to take action to get to that greatness. Nobody's gonna hand it to you. I believe every single person has $1 million idea inside them. They just have to take that action. They probably got $100 million ideas, but the majority of people end up in that graveyard and it never happens. How many dreams have died with the people that you know? You have greatness. You still have time on this earth. If you're listening to us, go out and do something with it. Start a business and start generating leads, because you have to get out there for people to know about whatever it is you're doing, whether you're selling cupcakes or running a marketing company or pushing CBD, right?
Whatever it is.
You have to take action.
Yep, consistently. All right, guys, this has been another amazing week. I always love talking about how to generate leads, because that's how I got into business in the first place and why I got into business in the first place. Christy, is there anything else before we sign off?
Take action.
Take action. You know what? Nothing else for me either. Take action, guys. That's it. We love you. Stay safe. And this was the Edge Podcast with Chip and Christy.